the hell is this?
Hey guys, welcome to the movie review for Star Trek Beyond. Starring Chris Pine as Captain James T. Kirk, Zachary Quinto as Commander Spock, Zoe Saldana as Lieutenant Nyota Uhura, Carl Urban as Lieutenant Commander Dr. Leonard Bones McCoy, Simon Pegg as Lieutenant Commander Montgomery Scotty Scott, John Cho as Lieutenant Hikaru Sulu, and of course Anton Yelchin as Ensign Pavel Chekhov. Now this movie is way better than what I expected. We got to see it at the Actors Guild Award around like 2 months ago, but we were embargoed, so we couldn't really talk about it till now. What I love about this movie, to be honest, is that there's more heart than the previous Star Trek. You know, the previous sequels, or the last sequel, as I should say, had they rested a lot on Benedict Cumberbatch's secret, quote-unquote, secret role, and it kind of hurt the audience. It hurt the viewership of the movie. So what's great about this one is they put all cards on, what do you call it? All cards on deck. They put everything in front of us. It's just that whatever we see in the trailer is way better than that. What I think about this movie is that it's, besides having a lot of heart, the action makes sense. You know, they pretty much go from one planet, being stranded on one planet, then the bad guy or the enemy coming in and kidnapping some of the crew members and holding them hostage because they have a personal vendetta against Captain Kirk. So the plot really makes sense. In case you don't know the premise of Star Trek Beyond, here it is. After stopping off at Starbase Earhart, a remote outpost on the fringes of Federation space, the USS Enterprise, halfway into their 5-year mission, is destroyed by a powerful, unstoppable wave of unknown aliens. With the crew stranded on an unknown planet and with no apparent means of rescue, they find themselves in conflict with a new ruthless enemy who has a well-earned hatred of the Federation and what it stands for. Now, the great thing about that is it's kind of telling. This guy hates the Federation, and should I give you spoilers? Spoiler alert, he hates it because his own family were killed by the Federation when the Federation came to his planet to fight off other enslaving aliens. It's kind of, it's not convoluted, it's just that you have to really get to know the characters, which this is how it goes. By the way, Idris Elba plays Krall. He's the main villain. His family, when he was a child, was killed when the Federation came to rescue his species of people from another species of aliens trying to enslave them. Unfortunately, the Federation also killed his family, Krall's family, so that's where all the hate comes from. And if you've ever seen what is that movie? Oh gosh, now I have a brain fart. Not Gentleman. It's a really popular, or not popular, but not famous. Yeah, it's a movie that happened last year, and tons of people loved it. Secret Service. There you go. Wow, why couldn't I think of that? If you've seen Secret Service, the girl there that has the legs are made out of blades. It's not really made out of blades, but it's a blade. She's missing both of her legs, and it's blades. She uses this thing to walk. I don't know. Anyways, she plays, her name is Sofia Boutella. She plays Jayla in this Star Trek movie. And she's also amazing. So she's a strong character, but she's also not a mercenary, but she's a loner. She only cares about herself. She doesn't care about anyone else. Well, her character, obviously you can already see the trope happening. It kind of expands as the movie go along, and next thing you know, she's helping the Federation, blah blah blah. You know the deal. And she's, of course, she's afraid of Crawl and Crawl's species of people, but she ends up having to fight for the Federation. Okay, so during during the Screen Guild, the LA Screen Guild Awards, we were given, like we had the option of watching another movie who I shall not name, which I shall not name actually. Okay, Ghostbusters or Star Trek. I'm glad I picked Star Trek, but I was kind of curious about Ghostbusters. And surprise, I have a new video coming up. I have seen Ghostbusters, but I can't talk about it yet. So anywho, let's Star Trek. I'm like on a where am I going? Why am I like straying off of the subject? All right. Okay, so this is pretty much it. So the Federation hears of a planet that needs their help. So as they're going through space looking for this planet, they run into some like spaceship malfunctions or whatever, and and they're trying to fix it. So they're kind of like in the middle of space. They're not really moving, and that's when these spaceships or these species of conquerors start like pretty much attacking um, Captain Kirk's ship, and like they, of course, the people on Enterprise, USS Enterprise, try to fight the invading species off, but they couldn't. They were just too powerful. In the end, majority of the ship was towed back to a planet, and the species that caught the USS Enterprise are trying to enslave Captain Kirk and his people. And of course, they kind of separate, obviously, and they all go out to fight their own battles. Well, what's interesting about this is that immediately Crawl decides to kidnap Uhura, which is kind of weird. Even though Uhura put up a fight, Crawl kidnaps her and knows that she's of value to Captain Kirk. He knows that Captain Kirk has feelings for her. So he kidnaps Uhura, Crawl does, and Crawl explains to Uhura where his hatred for the Enterprise comes from, for the Federation. He pretty much hates them because his whole family was murdered. And of course, meanwhile, Simon Pegg and Sulu and Spock, they're all on their own mission. Well, Simon Pegg is with Chris Pine. Sulu and Spock and yeah, and I can't even think of the other person. They're all running around in the planet trying to escape these enslaving species, and they're like doing splits. I know. They're doing splits. They're doing like jump kicks. Like they're fighting off all these enemies. Meanwhile, Uhura is back in Krall's detention area, I guess, and she's trying to like fight her way out of her predicament, but she can't. And Captain Kirk and what is his name? Captain Kirk and Simon Pegg run into this girl. This girl, played by Sofia Butella, she is I forgot what species she's from. She's some kind of species, like Chorok species or something like that. But she ends up she ends up wanting to like, okay, it took a while for sorry, not Chris Pine, for Captain Kirk and Simon Pegg to convince her to help them, but she knows the way around that planet. She's a scavenger. She only does what she wants to do, and in the end, they win her over because she wants to belong, and Crawl has something of hers that she deems valuable, but she's just afraid of Crawl. But Captain Kirk convinces her that once she helps him defeat Crawl. Sorry, I'm falling asleep just doing this review. Okay, once she helps him. Was him. Was oh gosh. I was like, okay, sorry. I saw something on TV. It made me, and it made me laugh. Anyway, okay. Oh man, that was so funny. Okay, so definitely so definitely Spock does something funny and Spock does this. He beams himself out of harm's way. Meanwhile, Sulu and the other dude are just like, what in the world? You didn't even take me. It was so funny. Anyway, they get so Simon Pegg. So I'm so delusional. It's like 3 in the morning. Oh gosh. Okay, so okay, is embargo gone? I hope so. I don't want to get in trouble for this review. So so in the end, right? Okay, there is no end. So Captain Kirk finally finds his way back to Crawl. They fight each other. Crawl and Captain Kirk is able to use like this laser from the laser ship. Okay, he grabs a ship, one of the Krull's ship, and he uses it to laser all the bad guys and destroy Krull's spaceship or whatever. And then Uhura breaks away and pretty much kills a few of the species, the bad guy species. And Spock and the crew managed to get the USS Enterprise to start working again and manages to save a bunch of people and bring people back on the ship, and other species are still trying to fight with them, and the USS Federation are now joining in the fight, fighting against Krall's species of aliens, and it's just mayhem. It is just mayhem. And Jayla, Jayla, as she would say it, Jayla ends up sacrificing her life for Chris. Ooh, why do I keep saying Chris? For Captain Kirk. And it is both heartwarming, touching, but also sad at the same time. Because her whole thing was she didn't want to help anyone because she's always getting hurt. She didn't want to help anyone because she minds her own business. She didn't want to hurt anyone because she didn't want to um, interfere in someone else's business. And she ends up doing it and it risks her life, but she said it's worth it, and then she ends up dying. Now, that really made me cry. Or it didn't make me cry. It made like one tear drop out of my left eye, but it didn't. But my tear didn't go all the way down my cheek. It stayed right underneath my eye, and then I sucked it back in. So, what I love about Captain Kirk is that he just doesn't. Man, he loves his crew. He's like the best. Like, he doesn't ever let anybody tell him no. He's always showing people that he loves them. He's always trying to risk his life to help them. It's just so cute. Anyway, yeah, but this movie really had me going. Like, it made me feel all kinds of emotions. Sometimes I was angry. I was like, "Wait, you mean to tell me that Crawl murdered that female Enterprise lady?" Oh man, like they weren't shy in this movie. And then, oh gosh, I just couldn't. I just wanted to cry. This this movie just warmed me up. But anywho, the point is this movie's really great. You have to watch it. It's not coming out till July, but trust me, this movie will blow you out of the water. And once you're blown out of the water, you can't jump back in. Because if you jump back in, then there's no water. You see what I'm saying? Anyways, guys, hopefully you love this review. And if you don't love this review, it's okay. I love you. And just keep smiling and just do you. Don't do anybody else, or don't try to be anybody else. Sorry. Anyways, yeah. Please, guys, live long and prosper.
Pardon me.